So, fellas, this weekend we celebrated the 20-year anniversary of one of the most tragic events in American history, 9/11. One of those pivotal moments in our history as a nation, and 20 years later, we're at a point where it's still, and I don't know if it never won't be, just striking images of what happened that day, that fateful day. And I know that day changed the course of my life forever. And I'm sure you guys can say the same thing in different terms. And, we're all very much, pro America on this show. And, we are very, 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 very grateful for all the sacrifices made that day, whether it was firefighters, police officers, civilians. There's countless stories of so many heroes. I heard a story yesterday that it was just like brought tears to my eyes. I'd never heard it before, and I'm sure we'll hear stories like this for the rest of our lives. And we're so grateful for those kinds of heroes that day, so that we could have the ultimate sacrifice of liberty and freedom. And it's just not that day. It's been since then that people have been heroic and fought for that. But it's just one of those days that we're grateful for those kind of heroes, and we will never forget those heroes. And it's just one of those days in our American history that will live to steal a line from FDR. It'll live in infamy for us. So we salute those heroes on that day, and we salute those heroes since then, and we'll never forget your sacrifice. So thank you very much to everybody who has made a sacrifice that day and since then. Play that song, Eric. To another episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm your host, Darren Stemple, and with me today is my co-pilot, Eric Hare.
Greetings, everyone.
You robot. Joining us today is the Big Morg 3000, Morgan Santo.
How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, well, after your Top Gun comments, it's you're lucky to be back so soon. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening in. You can find us on social media and YouTube at the Nerd Rundown, and you can listen to our podcast on all the major podcast services. We have a fantastic show for you all today. We're covering the latest on a pretty good sized rundown, and then kind of a theme throughout the show of dads. We're all dads here. We actually all have second graders. We're all wearing our dad shirts. And we'll play a little fatherly-like game to cap off the show with a nerd question at the end, too. So can't wait to get into this big rundown with you guys. Let's start right off with the first story on the rundown, being a return to a movie franchise that we have not returned to in a very long time. In fact, 18 years, I think it was, when was the last one we saw. But The Matrix Resurrections trailer was released. I'll hold my thoughts until I hear your guys' thoughts. And with Morgan being the guest on the show, I'm going to start off with you, Morg. You always have really low expectations for movies.
I do. I find that if I have low expectations, the movie's better. So the trailer's cool. I mean, I stopped myself. The trailer's cool.
I'll start it off. That's
but I don't know. I'm always cautious when it comes to trailers, and because they always show you the cool stuff. What they did with the soundtrack to that trailer, with playing that song, and how they just built up, and it was a good trailer. I did look into it. It was strange. There's some people you don't see in the trailer that you'd expect to see. There's no Morpheus. Spoiler alert for a trailer. Do you say that?
Yeah, sure.
No Morpheus, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be in the movie. I don't know if he is. I haven't heard anything. And I don't know how I feel. We only have one of the directors, so we don't have both of them, which makes me a little nervous. The stuff they've done since the first Matrix hasn't been the best. I'm waiting. I'm not getting too excited.
I will say that we do see Morpheus in the trailer, but he's not played by
Lawrence Fishburne.
He's not Samuel
Jackson. I don't think that's Morpheus.
It actually is confirmed to be a young Morpheus.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So shut your mouth, Morgan.
Well, spoiler alert: the Matrix Online game that came out however long ago.
Yeah, it was like it played from 08 to like 011 or something like that.
Morpheus in that was killed.
Yeah.
And they confirmed that game is canon to the movies. So I was thinking this wasn't Morpheus, that it was going to be somebody else connected to Morpheus, but not actual Morpheus himself. But
yeah,
I guess
it's confirmed he's playing Morpheus. He the actor Yahya, don't remember his last name.
Abdul Mateen.
Thank you very much. Yahya Abdul Mateen confirmed it on his own Instagram page that he is.
And I will say,
whether that's a variant to use
it could be
popular term of recent, a variant of Morpheus, or the multiverse of Matrixes. He's confirmed to play it. So
I will say before we go over to Eric, I'm hoping there's not a whole lot of time spent on him remembering who he is or breaking out of the Matrix, because I don't want to rehash to the first movie. Essentially, I
really agree with that statement. So go ahead, Eric. What'd you think? I've actually not talked to Eric all week about this, so I wanted to hear his fresh comments on the podcast. So I'm very excited, Eric.
Yeah. So. I wouldn't say I was disappointed with the trailer, but I was not like blown away by it. I really wasn't. The first I felt like the first half of the trailer is just Keanu Reeves looking around with a dumb look on his face, like, oh, what am I looking at? And I'm like, okay, where are we? What's happening here? Like in the elevator, I'm like, he's like looking around, noticing stuff. I'm like, okay, we get it. We get it. It's, like, this is the fourth movie in the series. But I don't know. Like, I think it's interesting that they are basically wiping the slate clean with this movie. So they are saying that this is a direct sequel to the first movie, and that the other two movies are basically, they're retconning those out of this thing. It's just going to be a straight.
Oh, I have not heard that.
Yep.
I have not.
So
you have a source on that?
Yeah, I can post it in the comments or whatever. But but yeah, they basically have said that this is not going to be that the other two movies are pretty much going away, and that it's just going to be a direct sequel to the first movie. So
Star Wars, take notes.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know what? It's your franchise. You do whatever you want with it, and the rest of us are just along for the ride. So, which I'm actually okay with that. Like I said, I didn't really like Reloaded all that much. I did not like Revolutions at all. I just thought it was terrible. But But yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think the cast looks pretty good. I think what you're going to see with Lawrence Fishburne's character is the resurrection potentially is him dying and then being resurrected of some sort or another. But I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen with this.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the simulation theory. I think it's fascinating, and to be able to explore that here, in this kind of world is pretty neat. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I do like I've heard that people are saying that like Keanu Reeves is like the John Wick, like it's that John Wick is actually inside the Matrix,
Right.
and all this stuff. So I don't know. You start to get a little.
I'm really surprised they didn't change up his look for the movie.
Yeah. I wonder if contractually he has to have that beard for the other franchise, but maybe, I don't know. But
I mean, it takes me 2 weeks to build this.
yeah,
Right.
I mean,
yeah,
it's just like it's like the Henry Cavill mustache. Like you could grow a mustache in like 2 weeks, especially when it's that thick. I mean, anyway.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of that bugaloo online about him looking like it's John Wick in the Matrix, and I get it, but also I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
A small little detail to make such a big online rage about. Anyway,
Right.
It's also hard to picture him without a beard now. Like
when you see him in the new Bill and Ted movie with his long hair and he's clean shaven, and it's really off-putting, and
it is.
He looks like not that I'm a big HP fan because I haven't seen the movies, but what's his name?
Snape.
Snape. Yeah. Yeah. There's a bunch of memes. It's like he's about to award 200 points to Gryffindor or something. Anyway, it's funny. I think we're all on kind of the same page. A little bit of a Venn diagram where Morgan's, in the middle of it, liking it, and Eric's over here with a little bit of but yeah, I mean, I was not blown away by it. I get that it's a new Matrix and the look of it, as new technology comes out in the real world, everything looks better right off the bat with new technology. Mm-hmm. And then this Matrix, it looks like a coffee commercial. Like it was like a coffee shop commercial. Like, I don't know, it felt really clean.
I didn't like right out of the gate. I thought it was really bizarre how Neil Patrick Harris spoke. The words that he used.
Yeah.
You're looking particularly triggered today, Mr. Anderson, or whatever it is. And I'm thinking to myself, are you trying to sound like Agent Smith? Because that's what it sounded like. It sounded like he's maybe he's the new Smith. And maybe he is. Maybe he is the new Smith.
Maybe he is. And we talked about it, Morgan, like the word triggered. As a professional, you're just not going to say that. So
it seems very strange that
it was a very strange sequence, like to start the thing off with.
I am excited to see Kristoff. I can't think of his real name. He's Kristoff in Frozen.
What's his name?
I can't think of his name.
Yeah, Jonathan Groff. Yeah, Jonathan Groff.
He was at the end of the trailer.
A real person in this? Oh, is that who that is at the end? Where he's like back to the where
I'm excited for him to get some more work and big stuff. I like it.
Okay, good to know. I've
and he's a native around this area because I think he lives out in Lancaster or has a home there at least.
How would you live in Lancaster? Anyway, I think we're all gonna hold off on maybe getting too excited about this till we see more. Again, like you said, only Lana Wachowski's doing this, not it's not both Wachowskis, and so who knows what how this is all going to play out. And I need more story details to get more excited to see where it's all going. So
I mean, I'll go watch it. That's hands down. That's going to happen
on HBO Max.
It's not going to. I'm not going to not watch this thing. I'm going to watch The Matrix. I mean, I was a bigger fan of Reloaded than most people. I'm right there with you.
You would be.
Revolutions was not my jam at all, so I get it on that one. I think that maybe if we went back and watched it now as dads, as older adults, we might feel different. I don't know. I would like to try to watch it again and see if maybe it made more sense than my 20-year-old brain.
Yeah.
I was younger when I watched it, so for me it was just like, wow, look.
Wasn't even legally allowed to drink when those movies came out, so I don't know how developed my brain was, and it's it's a lot smarter than you think.
I've gone back and watched the architect scene several times to try and break that down, and
it doesn't happen. You can't. The best thing I've ever seen about that is when Will Ferrell did a parody of it for the MTV Movie Awards.
Music Awards, with Justin Timberlake and
that was like a perfect parody of that scene. So we'll move on in the rundown. We are excited. I mean, listen, it's Matrix. Matrix 1 is so good that it will, no matter what, carry over its greatness into the Matrix to hype us up hype us up a bit about it.
Yeah.
Say that 10 times fast.
Go.
So next we'll stay in the sci-fi realm. Dune, not Doom. Dune premiered at the Venice Film Festival, and really interesting first reactions because the critics were there was some mixed reactions from the critics. The fans were blown away by it. So, and then kind of in the middle of that, the Rotten Tomatoes score is sitting at 83%. So, interesting first reactions. Look, fans, I think, are going to always be blown away by it in the beginning, especially seeing it before anybody else does. Critics, they're overly critical most of the time. So I would think that somewhere in the middle is where it's going to land, and maybe a little bit more towards the blown away. I can't wait for it. I'm looking forward to it. We've talked a lot about it, Eric.
Yeah, I just bought the book this week on the Kindle. I gotta finish up this one book I'm reading before I start it, but looking forward to it.
You checked off one homework assignment in the past week. You're on to your next homework
I did watch
assignment.
Army of the Dead, so I'm slowly getting through my checklist of stuff I got to do. So,
Morgan, what do you think about Dune? We haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to critics and stuff, I try not to listen to any of that stuff. Yeah. I mean, like you said, critics are overcritical. They got to do their thing. I get it. I tend to listen more to the fan reactions or just the general audience because they seem to give more of an honest opinion. But like you said, it's fans, so they're going to be hyped. I'm going into it with no expectation either way. I may have seen the original Dune. I know I've seen parts of it. So I'm just not hyped
Eric and I have
like everybody else.
Yeah.
So the trailer looked good. I'm going to watch it. It's going to HBO Max, right?
I think it's a dual release.
I think they came out and said that they're not doing
okay.
dual release.
Okay.
That's
I mean,
maybe they're not.
I'm not going to be there opening night. Yeah. That's just me.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect way of putting it. Like, I'm not going night one, but I'll probably wait till Sunday of opening weekend and try to convince Banana to go. So we'll see. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
We're well, just to kind of circle back around on something. Disney did come out this week and said that the rest of their movies for the rest of the year will be theatrical only. So that may
I saw that with Eternals and
what Warner Brothers does.
Soon.
Warner Brothers may do the same thing. I know Warner Brothers really wants to push their HBO Max, but you got to have the box office, and that's I think becoming painfully obvious to
I think
everybody.
That's a perfect segue into the next piece on the rundown. The next piece on the rundown is Tenet director Christopher Nolan's next project will be a World War II set drama about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Why that is a perfect segue, Eric, is because Nolan has had a big relationship with Warner Brothers for so long, and the decision by Warner Brothers at the beginning of this year, I think it was, to dual release everything, really pissed him off.
Yep.
And so he's shopping this movie to the other studios, Paramount, Sony. I can't remember, there was another one in there, but he could have his first movie not released by Warner Brothers, and I think that's a pretty big deal. And Warner Brothers probably just like got to be pretty upset about it. So, and then they're seeing Disney not dual release. Our next thing in the rundown was Venom 2 got pushed up some time. So there's Warner Brothers is like getting put out on an island right now, and we'll see how they react to that. But getting back to this movie, the father of the atomic bomb, J. Robert Oppenheimer. I think this is a really cool story. Nolan's known for his sci-fi mind-bending big movies, but he doesn't always have to do them. Dunkirk.
Yeah, Dunkirk. Yep.
Was that? So he can direct non-mind-bending movies and do it very well. So, what do you think about this one, Eric? You're the big Nolan guy on.
I am definitely a Nolan fanboy, but yeah, I mean, Oppenheimer's a controversial figure, to say the least. I think the quote that he had after the bomb was off was, I am become death, destroyer of worlds, and they knew what they were doing. They knew what the outcome would be from that. I don't think they knew clearly what would happen, but I mean, he's a fascinating person. That whole time period is a fascinating portion of time, if that's what they decide to do, is to do it around the atomic bomb creation. I think it's a great thing. I mean, people were terrified that the Nazis were going to run all around the world, and so there was, or that they were going to get the bomb first. That was the real scary thing, was that they were going to get the bomb first, and then they were going to run. They were going to be able to destroy everything. So, I think Nolan's a perfect person to tell that story. Nolan is a huge fan of movie theaters. Like, he loves the IMAX. He thinks that the IMAX is the greatest thing in the world. He tries to shoot on it as much as possible, which I deeply, deeply appreciate, because I tend to agree. I think IMAX is, the bigger that screen, the more emotional the impact is for the story, the more engaged you are with it, just to have that, the giant screen and the sound systems that they have in there is just so fantastic. So I for one am glad that Nolan is pushing that, and I'm glad he's going away from Warner Brothers, because the streaming is great and it's convenient, but you need theaters. So
Mark?
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch pretty much anything World War II related. That it fascinates me. So having Christopher Nolan do something, especially along these lines, I think it's going to be good. The atomic bomb, I mean, it changed the world. When we decided to drop it, it changed the world forever. I think there was even the pilots who dropped the bomb. You can find, the records they kept, and as soon as they dropped it and went off, they literally were just like, my God, what did we just do?
Right.
We knew it was going to be big, but I don't think people were quite ready for what it was going to be. Yeah. But I'll be interested to see how Nolan tells the story, especially with his style of filmmaking. Like you said, the IMAX he's a big believer in. What's he going to, this isn't a big action movie or anything. Right. How's he going to work that into this, and what's he going to do? So
right.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, me too.
Cool. Yeah. I'll watch pretty much anything Nolan, except for, I tried Tenet I tried, and I probably no one will try again, but it was tough.
The thing with Nolan is you get something original every time.
That's true.
You're gonna get an original story. It may not be
even
good.
In a Batman movie, you get some,
right.
You get a lot of originality, and I've actually been revisiting the Batman series these past couple of weeks. And I've been kind of a harsh critic on the show about The Dark Knight, and watching it again recently, I was like, I've probably been a little bit more harsh, because at one time was my favorite movie of all time, and now all of a sudden it's not. Mainly because the MCU, what they've put out, is just incredible for me, in my own bias. But they're damn good movies, and freaking that score is so good. So thank you, Hans Zimmer. Next on the rundown, we have a little blurb here about Venom 2's runtime has been confirmed at 90 minutes, which puts it as the shortest comic book movie of all time, and also now opening 2 weeks sooner on October 1st. I don't think this is a direct it's not a direct critique of the movie's quality. I mean, if the story's told in 90 minutes, it's told in 90 minutes. But there's not a lot of precedents to go off of for CBMs that are in that time range. In fact, the next closest movie to that time range is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four 2. That sounds really weird. That can't be it. I think it's just
also
Fantastic Four 2. So the Rise of the Silver Surfer movie, it's a terrible one. Not a good movie. And some of the other ones, some of the even shorter MCU movies, Thor: The Dark World and The Incredible Hulk, those are probably bottom tier MCU movies. So when you get to that short time range, I just don't see how you have, and you're introducing Carnage and maybe some other characters, like maybe She-Venom. So there's not a lot of time for the movie to be, fleshing out some of these new elements and then carrying over some of the elements from the first movie, which, again, I haven't seen. So I'm not critiquing the movie. It doesn't instill a lot of confidence in me. What do you guys think? Eric?
Yeah, same. 90-minute runtime feels like maybe we didn't have a good solid story, or maybe we had to cut a subplot in there that maybe would have taken up more time, and it just didn't go. So I don't know. Maybe we're getting more of an abbreviated story than what we originally, maybe the original screenplay had, or something like along those lines. But like you said, I mean, if it only takes 90 minutes to tell a story, it only takes 90 minutes. I'm okay with that. I mean, they did that with Loki, where it was just a shorter series than some of the other ones. But so yeah, I don't know. I like the first one. My expectations were Morgan Santo level, very low. I just didn't. It just for me was like, meh. All right, I had no expectations of it. So when I went in and watched it, I was like, oh, this is not bad. I like Tom Hardy. The Venom character is a cool kind of character, but so I'll see it eventually. I probably won't see it till it comes on video or whatever, but. I'm not going to see this one in the theater, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Mark?
Well.
Okay, Mark?
I have no hope.
Okay. You lost all hope.
No, I mean, when you hear that, to me, it sounds like maybe the studio got a little too involved and are cutting things out. And, you always see it, that classic mistake of that happens, and then the movie comes out and we're like, well, what happened with this storyline in there, or what's going on? It just kind of like seems thrown together. So my expectations are very, very low for the movie.
Okay.
And
that's all.
I don't even know if I'll see it in theaters.
I'm definitely not. So yeah, it's just not. It's not building up enough goodwill for it here for me. So next on the rundown, we brought Morgan for the video game news. We had a little bit of a Sony video game conference, and they showed some really awesome stuff. So they showed some really awesome stuff. Great hosting there, Darren. We'll start off with a quick trailer about a new game called Wolverine. I don't know what this is about. Some dumb character. Probably going to be really boring. So I'll let you tell us about it, Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about it other than I'm not even sure if there's a whole lot of news about it yet. It seemed to be a surprise, but it's being made by Insomniac, who did Spider-Man. Oh, I thought he was raising his hand for a question. I see he's pointing at Wolverine. So it's made by Insomniac, who did the Spider-Man game, which we all know that was a fantastic game. The trailer, you can tell it's not in-game footage. It looked more like the cinematic style that they tend to do.
Cutscenes, yeah.
But it was a neat little tease. It's, you just see that guy sitting at a bar all alone with a bunch of beat-up people, and one guy gets back up, and then we just look at the hand and you see the claws come out. And that's all they showed in Wolverine. Don't know if it's going to be a mature rated game or more like Spider-Man. Is it going to be, you're beating people up, but, nobody's really dying? Or will they go, no, we're going to get his full Wolverine, berserker, angry, slicing people in half. So we'll wait and see. But I'm excited for it.
I have confidence that they'll do right by the character in those terms. So the thing that worries me is, like, with Spider-Man in an open world game, you can get across the big map in a hurry. Because he swings across, he basically flies across. Wolverine, what's he going to do? Like, jog across, New York City and, try to get to the bad guys real quick.
Take Cyclops' motorcycle like an X-Men movie.
Stuff like that. I did like his claws. I like the look of his claws. I'm always worried about the look of Wolverine's claws, but I like the look that they brought in for this game. Eric, did you watch the trailer? I didn't mean to throw that on you like that.
No, I didn't see it at all. So I have no comments, no nothing. Although I do love
Morgan broke it down perfectly. That's really
that was the trailer. If you could just imagine a guy with a cowboy hat sitting at a bar
with a bunch of beat up dudes around him.
Yeah.
I do love. I do
his claws at the end, and that's it.
I do love Wolverine. So
I know it looks like a big yellow blob on your wall behind you.
I see the claws.
Yeah. Well, I do love Wolverine, so I'll check that out for sure when it comes out. I think they. Logan is one of my favorite movies. I really just think it's a great movie, and it's a great superhero movie, But yeah, so we'll see. As far as from a game perspective, I don't know how much I'd want to play Wolverine, but
Yeah. So. Like I said, I don't know how you do it, but we'll see. The next, that's probably somewhere along those lines. The next thing that was announced was a remake of Knights of the Old Republic, which is probably considered to be, if not the best, one of the best Star Wars video games of all time. Definitely one of those like stories you want to see made into either a TV show or a movie series. And so, it takes place thousands of years before the original trilogy. Morgan, tell us more about this one.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know what they're going to do entirely, if it's just going to be a straight remake and here you go. They didn't really show much, they just showed the lightsaber light up. That's all you really need, though, Star Wars. So you see that, everybody's excited. Now
that's what's cool about the Old Republic is it's like Jedi action.
Yeah, like this is really in the thick of it, not that there's like one or two Jedi left roaming the galaxy somewhere. This is kind of the height, I would say, of that Jedi and Sith. Now, I was hoping that it was going to be a sequel to The Last Jedi they were going to show instead, but I'll take Knights of the Old Republic.
Or Fallen Order.
Or Fallen Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Jeez.
You for the video game news. I know what you meant. I know. I really, really need a sequel to that game because that game was so much fun.
It was,
and I really, really need a sequel to that game.
It's one of the few games I've played multiple times and got everything in it. And
yeah, it's one of the 100%ers I've done, so multiple times. Next on it, and last in the rundown, is maybe the most exciting news of the entire week. We got a trailer for a sequel to the Spider-Man game. It showed Peter Parker in his Spider-Man suit, which looks a little upgraded, as it looks like he has throw my pen behind me. The Iron Spider legs coming out of it, a little bit more of a different redesign on the belt and stuff. I mean, that was one of the cool things about the original Spider-Man game, was that you could choose, between a bunch of different suits and powers. They showed Miles Morales, so I can't wait to play the Miles Morales Spider-Man game when I get my PS5. And it'll be a perfect lead into this game where those two team up, and it showed Venom, who was teased at the very end of the last game. So it said 2023. I think it was 2023. Oh, it's so annoying.
I know.
2 years away from that. But these games take forever to make, so I get it.
And I get it, and you want it to be done well.
And that's all we got was the tease of Venom. We don't know what else the story is. I'm sure Harry might come in, might be Venom since he was in that tank, and that's the way Norman saved him.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like he was using the symbiote to save him. Yeah, spoiler. And they hint on that a little more in the Miles Morales.
What's really cool is the actor who plays Candyman. Of course, I forget his name. The guy in The Rock, who's like, "I am relieving you of your command, sir." Yeah, he's like, you know how this shit works. that guy. That guy. He's the voice of Venom, so he's got a great cinematic voice, and looking forward to him as Venom.
Well, I think, I mean, I think this game is actually going to be more about. Now, I don't know if this is true. I haven't read into it. I think Kraven the Hunter. I think that's him talking in the trailer.
Oh yeah, at the beginning I was like, oh
yeah, because he's talking about finding somebody that can really compete against him or make a challenge for him.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't really like a Venom.
Like, who else could that be?
And then the way Venom, when you hear Venom talk, it's almost like he's answering that guy, saying, "Yes, we will. We're going to challenge you."
Or Venom's just talking in his normal.
Or he's just doing his normal voice to that, I guess. But I don't know, because that voice had some sort of an accent to it.
Yeah.
There was
Kraven,
and Miles, if you notice, he also had his Venom was blue at one point when he's using it in the trailer, from that yellow to blue. So I don't know what that is, what that means.
I'll have to go back and watch that. I didn't notice that. Okay.
Yeah, it changed to blue at one point when he was fighting somebody. So
I'll have to look at that.
About Miles, so I don't know if that means there's a change coming.
I know, me either. I don't know. I know, Eric, this is probably like you haven't played the game, so it's a little out of your arena, but do you want to give any thoughts?
No comment. Tony Dodd. Tony Dodd. Yep. Tony Dodd is the guy you're thinking of. So
that's how this shit
great
works.
Actor. Right.
So
I don't listen to soft ass shit.
You're the Rocket Man.
You're the Rocket
Man. Anyway, can't wait for that. We are so far away. It's hard to get excited about it, but we'll get excited about it anyway because we're a bunch of nerds. So that's the rundown. Let's get to our dad game. I've got a fun game planned for us, and we'll see how it works. I mean, we've never played it on this show before, but played it in the car with my kids quite a bit. And I'm sure you guys have had to play this game before at some point in your life. So we are dads. We are nerd dads, and so let's combine those two things into this game. I'm going to call it the ABC movie game, and we're going to go through the alphabet. We're going to start with the letter A, of course, and we're going to it's kind of a speedy game. So way it works is, Eric, you're top left, so you're going to start off with the letter A. First movie that comes to mind, A, and then it's going to come to me, B. I gotta say my movie. The first thing that comes to my name. First movie that comes to my mind, and so on and so forth. Where you'd obviously see. So, first person to get stumped, you have 5 seconds to think of a movie that starts with that letter. First person to get stumped 3 times is out, and the last person standing wins. Are we good? Questions?
No.
I think we're good.
Do we have to keep track of our stumpedness, or you're keeping track? Okay, all right.
I've got it. Let me write down our names.
In 5 seconds.
And I already
not a whole lot of
Morgan's name. Darren. Yeah, it's not a lot of time. That's why it's a speedy game. So, what's your name? Morgan? Yeah. Okay. And clearly the first 3 letters are very easy as you've had probably time to think, Eric. Let's start. And I'll keep an eye on the clock for our time. Letter A, go.
Armageddon.
Nice. B, Batman, 1989.
Catwoman.
Dunkirk.
Edge of Tomorrow. Oh, man, that was close.
Firestarter.
Greatest game ever played.
Happy Gilmore.
Inception.
Nice.
Gay.
That's 5 seconds.
All right.
Eric,
I don't think anyone think of it.
Yeah.
Jack. I'm going to say Jack. Movie with Robin Williams. That should have been an easy one for you there, Eric.
Yeah.
Okay, K. Morgan.
Oh, so I go to K? It doesn't... Okay.
Yes. Yeah, well, I stole the J from Eric.
Oh.
So we'll start. Go, K.
Okay.
That's 5 seconds. Morgan,
you got nothing for K.
Yeah. All right. Eric, you want to steal K?
I can't. I can do L, but I can't steal K.
K. Killing Me Softly.
Oh,
all right.
With Brad Pitt.
I'm thinking the word kill.
Morgan, go to L.
L. So stupid.
Track against Morgan. This game's gonna be over real quick.
Oh man.
I got liar liar. I could do L.
Okay,
liar,
yeah. Eric stole L, so M. All I can think is Mephisto. No, that's not a TV show. I'll take an L on that one.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, man. Okay. So
am I doing
Eric,
N?
I guess Eric just went.
I know, because I'm not obviously Monty Python.
Go ahead. Go to Eric. You're on, or Morgan, you're on N.
And never say never.
Oh,
does that count?
A non-James Bond movie.
Yeah. Good one. Okay. And Eric.
Wait. So I'm sorry. What did you say? What was? Which
You're
one am I on?
O.
I'm on O. Okay. So O is October Sky.
Oh, I love October Sky. LMNOP. I can't think of P. That's all. I'll take a strike on that one. We are all at 2 strikes.
Yeah, this is bad.
Next strike loses. We're on it's sudden death now. Yeah, it moves to you for the next letter.
Planet of the Apes.
Oh, nice. Okay. LMNOPQ.
Quantum of Solace.
Oh, good one. QR. Real Steel. Wait, is that a good one?
Yeah, Real Steel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, yeah.
S.
S.
Sex Drive. It's a comedy. It's not bad, I swear. I mean, it's bad. It's a comedy, but it's not.
All right, dude. Hey, whatever. You don't have to explain.
We didn't ask for an explanation.
You don't have to explain. It's fine, buddy. It's fine.
We could have gone with Star Wars, but you're a 6 time. So what?
It's fine, dude.
This is a judgment-free zone here, Morgan. This is the dad show, so it's
The dad show. Yeah, you know, we're all married. We're all married with children. So you know,
the movie where
we've all been
plays that Amish character.
We've all been teenage boys before.
Yeah,
Seth Green.
You know?
Seth Green. He plays an Amish guy.
Okay, we get it.
Dude's
we
car.
get it. Yes,
I'm
I've seen it. I've seen it. All right. Yeah, we've seen it.
It's good, buddy.
I don't even know what to say anymore. That was just.
We're on T now. Right?
That threw me off so much. Eric, T.
Is it T for me? Okay, I'm gonna go with something a little more clean here. I'm gonna go with Time Cop. Jean-Claude Van Damme, guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's a guilty pleasure.
That one falls in the guilty pleasure section.
Yeah, I'm still thrown off by more. That was a good one. I do love Time Cop. I love when he does the splits onto the dryer and man, I am like totally now. Where are we? STU.
You.
Oh, U571.
Oh, good one.
Ooh, yeah. Good one.
V.
Victory.
I don't know. Is that a movie?
Is that a movie?
What happens if you challenge it and it is? There's got to be a movie called Victory, right?
You're just throwing out words. There is 1981 Victory. This is a decent film about a daring breakout from an inescapable Nazi concentration camp, a barbed wire and strongly controlled camp.
That's the one you were thinking of, right?
By using a soccer team.
With Michael Caine, right? And
Michael Caine, yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Caine. Okay, well, I guess it's on to you, Eric.
For W?
VW.
I will take World War Z.
Good one. Okay, STUVW. X-Men.
Y. Yellowstone.
That's
Isn't that an apocalypse? Isn't that like also an apocalypse movie where like Yellowstone blows up? I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Let's see.
It feels like a direct-to-DVD. I mean, it probably qualifies, but
I just googled Yellowstone movie.
Yeah. So there, I'll take a hit on that because there is a Yellowstone movie from the 30s, but not what I'm thinking of.
All right, Morgan's out at Y. You could have gone with Y, The Last Man. You could have gone with V for Vendetta on V for you, Morgan, but you're going the hard route. Yeah, with Victory. All right.
So Eric doesn't have to do Y then.
VWXY. We'll end it with you, Eric. Z.
Do I need to do Y?
Oh yeah, you do need to do Y.
Okay. I'll do either one.
Yeah, because Morgan's out. No, Morgan, you're out.
I've got one for each. Okay, so Y will be Young Guns.
Oh, I love that soundtrack.
Which, by the way, if we want to do westerns at some point, that would be a fun one to do.
We will have to do westerns.
Maybe when Yellowstone premieres, we should target around a.
That's a good idea. Yeah. That's a really good idea. Westerns for sure, because you also Tombstone's your favorite movie.
Yeah. Movie. I love westerns. They're great. Yep.
Let go of Yellowstone movie.
I'm gonna make it a movie.
I'll cap it off.
It's a sequel to Sex Drive. It's Yellowstone.
It'll be a trilogy soon enough.
Do it.
Zombieland. I'll cap it off with Zombieland. Right. Now we have a tie between Eric and Darren. So should we go back around to A, B, go back through the alphabet and do the tiebreaker, see who wins? Yes. Okay. Good.
And you can't reuse movies.
You can't reuse movies. So it's back to you for A, Eric.
I'm going to go with All the President's Men.
Ooh. Bright side or blind side? Blind side.
Blind side. All right. So C would be Carnage. I'll just say the Carnage because. Do we have to say Venom? Is it Carnage or is it? Count. Doesn't count? Okay. So then C would be I'm going to take a hit on this one. I think it's it. It ends in C.
What's that? What I was thinking of was
Couples Retreat. God,
there's Couples Retreat.
Yeah, Couples Retreat.
What's that Tom Cruise movie? Charlie Murphy's War. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
I was thinking Captain America.
Tom Hanks. Charlie Wilson's
Captain
War.
America.
No. Captain America. That's what first came to my mind for C.
Yeah.
After I said Catwoman.
Fun little game you can play in the car with your kids, and if you don't have kids, play it with yourself. or don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jeez, that sex drive really threw you off.
Morgan, this is the first time you've hosted with us, with both of us, right? Because you've been a main host with just me, right? But other than the Loki reviews, this is the first podcast hosting you've done with us, right?
No, he did one a few weeks back.
Yeah, I did one a few weeks back.
With us?
Yep.
Which one?
Yeah. The one. What was it? I don't remember.
I thought you did, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
But that was just you hosting with me on the trilogies.
That one, but I did one before.
Yeah, you did one also.
All right, try and find it for me and let me know, because I did want to say welcome to the show on your first big time with both of us, but then I was like, I feel like you hosted with us before. Anyway,
maybe not.
Fun game. Play with your kids. Play that game with your kids in the car. It's a good time. I'll take the championship belt for this week on that one.
Can't believe I lost it on C, for God's sake.
I know.
Stupid.
Captain America.
I should have just said a word.
Yeah.
I know.
I thought when I guessed Carnage, I thought the Carnage thing threw me off.
Yeah, you should have just said a word. It would have been a movie.
The Carnage thing threw me off because I thought I had it, and then I'm like, oh crap, I can't do that one. So.
Yeah, can't do it. Let's get to the nerd box. We have one question from Banana. Thank you, Banana, for chiming in on this one. She says, can a soundtrack make or break a movie? Now, she's not much of a soundtrack nerd like we are, Eric. And Morgan, I'm not sure how much of a soundtrack nerd you are, but I know Eric and I, we listen to just soundtrack music all the time, like the scores of movies. In fact, that's all I've been listening to lately because there's not a whole lot of new music out. I'll answer this real quick. Absolutely can make or break a movie. I think when you look at some of the best scored movies of all time, it doesn't make or break those movies, but it enhances it. And I've said this about Lord of the Rings. Every scene that the score comes in, it enhances the movie and enhances each scene. I would say that can it break a movie? I don't know, because there's been some pretty good movies with terrible scores. The MCU didn't really have a good score until Captain America's theme was pretty good, and it was probably the most well-known theme up until the Avengers, as Alan Silvestri did both of them. Maybe a little time, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Can a soundtrack make or break a movie? I'll go with you first, Eric, on this one, since you're my soundtrack nerd along with me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on I don't know that it can break one. Because I don't know that I've ever been like, oh man, that would have been a great movie if it only had like better music to it or whatever. Like I don't think I've ever been in that situation, but it can definitely bring the movie up, and that's both from a score perspective, so you get the score music with the orchestras and all that stuff, or the electronic music, there's a lot of the electronic stuff. And then also just like with the Guardians of the Galaxy, where they just picked really great tunes to make the movie to, and kind of dug deep into some 70s and 80s stuff that's out there, and that you're just like, oh man, this is awesome. So I definitely think it can enhance and then really make that experience so much better. And I think the thing that I love about music scores and stuff is that, you know, you're driving down the road and you hear this music in your head, and it lets you kind of relive that movie experience, and then you kind of see it, not that it happens in your real life or whatever, but you can't help but, like, you know, when you're involved in situations, you have like this song in the back of your head, and you're like, oh yeah, you know, this was such a great, you know, such a great score, such a great sequence. You know, like my son Jackson right now is big into Jurassic Park and Jurassic World stuff, you know, so he loves that soundtrack. And then my daughter, they both are into the Harry Potter movies. They really like the Harry Potter movies. So the other day on our way to school, they were like, hey Dad, can you play some Harry Potter, you know? And I'm like, sure, you know, it's great. So we, you know, put on a little Harry Potter mix or whatever. And then the other day I was listening to the MCU fanfare that Brian Tyler did, and I can't remember. I think it premiered with the Dark World, the Thor Dark World, his version of the fanfare. The
current fanfare is Alan Silvestri.
Yeah, but Brian Tyler did one there, and it was like with Captain America, Winter Soldier. It was the, you know, yeah. You know, like, and that's, and I think that's when the fanfare really, I think that's when the fanfare was really great. Like when Brian Tyler made that fanfare, because prior to that, I don't think I really paid much attention to it. You know, you had like the cards flipping and all that stuff. But when Brian Tyler did that one, I was like, oh man, that is awesome. Like I listened to that and I'm like, I'm pumped to watch. Like that 30 seconds pumped you up and made you ready to watch the movie. So
absolutely.
It's great.
I'll have to go back and revisit that, because I know the current one is Alan Silvestri, and it's really good and I love it. And it like flashes all the scenes from the previous MCU movies. It's really cool. And I remember when we first got that in WandaVision, after not getting MCU stuff for like a year and a half, it was like, oh, yeah, buddy, give me more of that. So, Morgan, what do you think?
I wouldn't say it can make or break it. You know, just I'm not as big into the music as you guys are. But I will say, but maybe you guys know, I heard that in Endgame, the opening sequence, the orchestra, that only half of the orchestra is playing.
Yeah.
To coincide with the snap, and only half the people are left.
Yeah.
But cool. No, I mean, I think it helps. I think it also can make movies more iconic if they have a good soundtrack, and you have to use it right. Like I always think of, like, I just finished Zack Snyder's Justice League finally, and it annoyed me every time you saw Wonder Woman, they would play the Amazonian. It didn't matter. Like you'd see her, she could be reading a book, and
it was like too much.
Like, okay, like I get it, but then you have movies like, I think they made fun of that
in the Honest trailer. I think it's really funny.
Like Into the Spider-Verse, the way they use music in that was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Or, you know, like there's certain things like Mission Impossible. Everybody knows that theme. Everybody hears it. Boom, you know exactly what it is. Doesn't mean Mission Impossible 1's the best movie ever. No, but everybody knows it because of this theme. The Matrix. Again, that's another, that sound, the track they use in that, everybody knows it. That first one when they go into the building to try and get Morpheus back and they're playing that, you know.
Right.
But I don't think I've ever watched a movie where I was like, oh God, the soundtrack just like
you know, I don't think, I don't know if there's been a movie where like, stop this music right away. Now it brings up a topic we've talked about before, Eric, when we've talked about soundtracks or scores, is you can have a great theme and maybe the movie is scored as well. You know, when I think about great scored movies, I mean, Hans Zimmer scores his movies throughout the movie amazingly. And when you think about the Dark Knight score, there's not a lot of like, it's not like a Batman theme you can think of.
Right.
You can think about how it's scored throughout the movie. Or Inception, the way that the score is throughout the whole movie is just incredible. I love that score. and Lord of the Rings throughout the whole thing. And they have, and that may be why Lord of the Rings is the greatest, because they have tons of themes that are great, and throughout the whole movie it's scored well.
Right.
And you think about like Star Wars, there's themes to Star Wars, but when you think about watching a movie, you're not thinking, oh, this is, maybe Duel of the Fates, maybe the only time where it's like scored throughout the movie that's like, oh, this is cool. But it has the opening scroll theme, it has the Imperial March theme, and the iconic themes, but it doesn't mean that the movie scored all that great. So yeah, good question, Banana. We really appreciate any question. Anytime we get to talk about scores is awesome. What do you got there, Eric?
Well, I was just going to say a follow-up question would be, what movie has a score that's way better than the movie? I mean, I could give you a perfect example. Tron Legacy.
Yes.
The score to Tron Legacy is unbelievable.
Awesome.
It's so good. And that movie is mediocre at best. At best, it's mediocre.
That enhanced that movie, actually.
It really did. It
totally.
made that movie better. So, yeah.
That might be a list we have to come up with in the future is, movies that were made better by the score, because that's a really good thing to think about. I have a YouTube channel I want to share that's it's called Ambient Worlds. Somebody introduced it to me. His name is Joseph. He's a big Lord of the Rings guy. He's going to be on the show soon when we do our Lord of the Rings episode, but he introduced me to this YouTube channel called Ambient Worlds. Check it out. It's really cool. It's like a background noise channel, and it's got different, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean and Batman and MCU and all these cool, like, there's Jurassic Park, and it's got like just ambient noise where, like, say for the Jurassic Park ones, it's got like, you're in the jungle and you hear a little bit of animal noises, and then it starts playing the theme throughout it, and it's really cool, like really calming and relaxing, and a lot of really good. And
they have
they have
Hogwarts
a lot of
classroom, rainy night at Hogwarts.
It's like rainy jungle. It's if you ever just want some background noise while you're working or you need to focus, that YouTube channel Ambient Worlds is awesome. So with that said, we'll wrap it up today. Morgan, we love having you on the show.
I love being here.
We'll find ways to bring you on more often because we have such a good time, especially when you
need to go on vacation so I can do that zombie episode with Eric.
Soon enough. We're talking about going on vacation very soon, so you and Eric can zombie out all you want. But with that, we appreciate you coming on, so thank you, Morgan. As always, you're hilarious and give some really great insight on some things. So thank you. Eric, brother, love you. Thank you for another great episode. Appreciate you. Again, never forget 9/11. I can't put things into words enough about that. So with that being said, we'll see you next week on the Nerd Rundown.
Let's roll.